Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our regular council meeting for March 17, 7:15. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Ready? Begin. If we can all please remain standing for a moment of silence for our first responders and military members, please. Thank you. May be seated. Roll call.
Roll call. Councilmember Roth.
Present.
Councilmember Opal.
Present.
Councilmember Wallace.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Samra.
Present.
Mayor Moran.
Present.
For the record, all council members and mayor are in attendance.
Thank you. Closed session announcements.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The City Council met in closed session to discuss item number 6 on this evening's closed session agenda. Deliberation occurred, and we'll have to continue that item after the open session, but no reportable action as of right now. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Council, next we have any changes to the agenda?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
can we consider moving item 9 above item 7 and 8 to take place right after consent?
And Mr. Mayor, I would like to pull item number 6 of the consent calendar for discussion.
Okay, so that would be consent and then number,
6.
okay, under consent 3, 4, and 5, and then pull 6 will be discussion, and then number 9 to go after consent. Is that correct? Anything else? Council, do we need a majority? No? Okay, so we have a motion on by Mayor Pro Tem Samra. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
By Councilmember Roth. Roll call, please.
Roll call. Councilmember Roth.
Yes.
Councilmember Opal.
Yes.
Councilmember Wallace.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Samra.
Yes.
Mayor Moran.
Yes.
Motion passes by a vote of 5-0.
All right, thank you. Next, we have citizen comments. This section of the agenda allows members of the public to address the City Council on any item not on the agenda. Members of the public, when recognized by the mayor, should come forward to the lectern and identify themselves. Comments are normally limited to 3 minutes. Do we have any citizen comments on the phone? Hearing none, coming back to the chamber at 7:18. Is there any citizen comments in the chamber? Please step forward. State your name for the record. Is this on items that are not on the agenda?
Items not on the agenda, correct.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Mitchell Vinciguerra. I'm a field representative with the Carpenters Union. I'm here tonight to make the City Council aware of some possible issues I noticed on an affordable housing project here in the city of Livingston. Located at 400 B Street, the River Glen Apartments complex was approved through Assembly Bill 2011, a state law that helps the city get affordable housing built quicker, helps the developer by avoiding rezoning, and makes the project CEQA exempt, saving quite possibly years of time for approval and a significant amount of money. Along with these development incentives, AB 2011 also benefits the construction workers building these projects by providing jobs with apprenticeship opportunities, prevailing wage, and required healthcare expenditures, not just for the worker, but their spouse and their children as well. On December 11, 2023, the developer for this project, Self-Help Enterprise, sent Mr. Galvez of the Planning Division a letter acknowledging the requirements for these labor standards and certified that these labor standards will be met. From the project start in July of 2025 onward, the developer has sent in monthly compliance reports, and those compliance reports state that the labor standards are in fact being met. But there's an issue. When I look at the project on the DIR, some of the contractors are not reporting any hours at all, as required by law. And when you look at the records for the contractors who are reporting, those reports do not indicate any healthcare expenditures are being made on behalf of the employees. I also personally have spoken with several construction staff employees who worked on that project, and all of them confirmed with me that they did not receive any healthcare at all while working on that project, as required by law. And so we'd love to meet with the city staff to discuss this project and how can we ensure that developers benefiting from state and local initiatives hold up their end of the bargain. So who could I leave some business cards with? Thank you.
Thank you. If you can hand that over to Ms. Cisneros at the end?
Thank you.
Sure. And then probably, if need to, you can always reach out to the city manager and schedule an appointment, a meeting with him.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there any additional citizen comments in the chamber at this time? Seeing none, we're closing the citizen comment at 7:21. Next, we have awards and presentations and proclamations. Item number 1, presentation by Jose, I'm sorry, I don't want to kill the last name. Okay. Hernan, okay. I don't know how we went from Hernandez to all this. Okay, got it, perfect. Okay, I'll stick with Hernandez for now. CEO from that was for me. Apollon 7 Inc., EV charging infrastructure proposal for City of Livingston.
Apologize, I combined. I'm actually the CEO of IDA California, working
Okay.
in partnership with Harut from Apollon 7. No, first of all, thank you for having us here today. I always have, I take great pleasure in meeting with City Council. I meet with lots of elected officials. This morning, I was in the state capital of Arizona. You don't want to go there right now. I find that when I meet with you, it's a lot more authentic. I mean, you have a closer relationship with your constituents. So thank you for that. My name is Jose Hernandez. I'm CEO of IDA California. We do lots of different things. I've been doing energy for about 28 years. I sit on the Little Hoover Commission, so we did reports on affordability. We just did a report on data centers and so forth. But often, I find a company that's unique. And then when Harut came to me in terms of what they're doing in the EV charging space, definitely unique. And I thought that it would be great to model that project, expand that project in California. I'll talk a little bit about that. We're supposed to be right now in Vegas. There's this small little thing going on about EV chargers, but we thought it'd be better to be here and talk to actual individuals that we want to partner with. But specifically, we know the state is moving to do things different in the EV space. Right now, there's the conversation in terms of how to collect some taxes that aren't being collected in terms of drivers and mileage. And similarly, we hear from cities that there's an opportunity to do something different because a gasoline tax is not being collected the same way with charging. So in speaking to Harut, he said, well, I'm happy to get into partnerships, rev share, different options. So I want to introduce Apollon 7 and Harut and the company, and he can talk a little bit about kind of the idea, the technology, and the opportunities to partner with cities.
Hi, my name is Howard Sunuko, and I'm CEO of Apollon 7 Holding. Our company creating the charging station, completely new technology, 2024. My company goal is fixing the global problem, because in the USA and everywhere in the world have a charging station, the charging slowly problem. So we have a 2-3 completely different type of charging system, and the charging time starting for 5 minutes, 15 minutes, and 20 minutes, and they're completely fully charged. So plus we are integrated digital screen in the charger and have a 65-inch for the digital screen, the advertising screen in the charger. So we wanted strong and long-time partnership with the city and the Livingston, because the city have potential for the future. And each charging location can give it more potential for the people can buy electric car, and that can be in the more green energy. And the number one point is we can go with city in the budget, because this is the same concept for the gas station, because in the industry have like two options, gas and electric. This is the same thing in the gas station, but for the electric car. So we buying in the power from utility company and we selling in the regular car. So about in the company part, about like difference for Apollo 7 and the other companies, of course in the United States have like only 3 big company. I don't want to like tell everybody knowing the name. That structural is over like 10-year-old. So that structural too old, and that's the big problem if, let's say, okay, for example, in the Tesla, if the Tesla needed like upgrade his structural, that can be couple of $1 billion, and plus that's impossible because they have a power problem for everywhere. So in our system, we creating completely different type of system where we're using in the low power, but we give it like 10 times more faster and result. So that's about like technology part, and we are very happy for the creating the Livingston city, more beautiful location, and we're completely ready for start work with Livingston city. Thanks so much.
We have a PowerPoint, but you don't have to go through it. You have it, but if you want to go real quickly, I mean, I think he covered a couple of things, and then in terms of the history of Apollon 7, the next one. This is more in terms of who they are, how they partner, and then right now they're partnering City of Glendale. We're in talks with the City of Adelanto, and then a couple of other cities as well, and then the next one. And then this is the technology. One of the things that was key is how quickly you can charge your car. Sorry. I do a lot of work, and I don't own an AV, mainly because I can't sit there for 45 minutes to charge. And so this changes that model, and so we want to see it out in the different communities as quickly as possible. And then the next one, it's just the partnership structure. And so I know he didn't talk about exactly the rev share model, but there's different rev share models basically, or there can be a straight aspect of where they just lease the land and then pay monthly in terms of the using it. But what we're finding is that a model where the city makes money as the EV chargers make money is probably the best in terms of growing the budget and growing together. And then the next one, direct benefits, no upfront costs to the city. One of the unique things about this company is that they're not reliant on any government subsidies, and they're not reliant on any funds from cities and so forth. Next. And then just who they are, and excited to work with cities such as Livingston. Thank you.
So a little bit of additional information for council. Staff has met with Apollon 7, I think 2 or 3 times. They've shared their different technology and where they've been doing current business. And then they also work with private entities, and so we've basically connected them with Foster Farms. We connected them to Arco and Moonglow. Don't know if there's been any movement in partnerships with them, but that's on the private side, and I just wanted to share that with council, so if you guys want to ask any questions.
Council, are there any questions?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, go ahead.
question for either one, city manager.
Can you speak closer to the mic?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It says, understanding if city enters into the partnership, I saw where it says revenue 80/20. I assume I know what the split's gonna be, but does that is that just based on the lease of the land, or is that on top of any other lease that we?
So does the process have like 2 parts? So when we're talking about like city-owned property or like revenue share situation, so we need a location for the city-owned land. So that's the contract term like coming for 10-year or 15-year and more. So that's time when we have a like profit share, that's have a like first one agreement for the lease, that's typically, but we're not paying lease because we're paying in the for profit share with partnership with the city. That's completely different. So in the second option for the private location, that's time we take the like lease from private like business, and we put the charger, and we just give it like fixed rent. That's the private section. So, but the city-owned properties, just need a contract. That's a minimum term, like 10 year, because that's the more investment every each location. That's starting for $500,000 to $2 million every each location. So about like Jose question, we like very good have a like conversation with Foster Farm, because that's very big business and have a like big parking lot. That's amazing. And Argo gas station, every private section, that's amazing because everybody wanted like this job. So about partnership situation, so that each charging station make a completely different type of money, because that's dependent how many kilowatt charging station. So we planning put the Livingston City 2 type of charger. So 60 kilowatt and 240 kilowatt. That's a 40 kilowatt charging system that can be very, very unique, because that's 4 times completely different type of any charging station in the world. So can make a profit per month over like $15,000 to $20,000 per machine. So we're planning to put the Livingston City over like 15 or 20 unit every each location. That's including the police department, so area, and so that's type of area. And the profit share situation, have it in the documentation, I think we can share for the percentage.
This is more an introductory kind of conversation. There's no formal proposal.
I get that.
And one of the things we want to do is kind of see what best fits. But to answer the question, it would be a percentage of the revenue that's made per machine. I think that's what we would recommend, because that has the opportunity to give the greatest return to the city.
Thank you.
Council, any other questions?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, go ahead.
I do see the management@opalon7.com email listed. Is there any way that we can be sure to get in touch with both of you gentlemen? Do you guys have business cards for us by any chance?
Business card not now, no, but yeah.
Yeah, can you leave those with the city clerk, please? Thank you.
The other aspect that I ran through the technology that he was touched upon is that there's an opportunity to do the cameras and then lights. Some of the cities have wanted Apollon 7 to connect with the local law enforcement in terms of feeding in the actual live feeds, and then additional lighting, and there's also an advertisement component as well.
So that's the first point, this is for the security reason. This is the first time in the charging station industry for the camera system and the 24 hours. And we're connecting in the local police department, and the company can give it like access for the police department for the 24 hours, and it can be access in the charging station. That's the very big point. And second one, for the advertising part, the city can do free advertise any type of content, anything for the connected in the city. It can advertise in all of them for the digital screen, and can be growing for the local small business too. This is the second benefit. Yeah.
So I can see why you chose Livingston instead of Vegas. It's more exciting here being at the council meeting. But I think I would be okay with having something back with more of a proposal, ideas, after you speak with the city manager. I did have some questions, but I think those questions will be answered once those proposals come back. And it was more related to the option of sharing or the lease and who does what and stuff like that. But I think those will be answered once a proposal is brought to us.
I think the questions will help guide the proposal, so I don't know if you would want to ask one or two, because that can definitely help us provide something that's extremely useful.
But before that, I would like to ask legal, in terms of being able to work directly with them, or there needs to be some type of request for proposals. Maybe you can shine a little bit of light in there, just asking.
So at this point, Mr. City Manager, the city has not released an RFP of any sort for this.
No, No, there's no RFP, so I'm just wondering if that's the route that we need to go in order to solicit proposal from them, or do we need to just do an RFP and then they can apply for it? I don't know if this fits, where this fits, so that's why I'm asking.
Or would the other option be, if they're bringing the proposal to the city, for the city's consideration, does it still need an RFP? Because if they would be offering the concept and the proposal.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So there could be a concern related to the pricing of this. Again, we're not considering an active application at this point, so we don't have any numbers in front of us to even consider. With that said, when it relates to the RFP process, there could be questions down the line about whether these numbers are competitive. There might also be exceptions to bidding and things like that that I have not yet analyzed.
And we're open to both. I mean, again, we're not asking. In fact, we're going to give a proposal with a proposed rev share. But I mean, I think you're right. If the city can find another entity that wants to do a higher rev share, maybe that's something that you look at. But open to.
About like RFP process, we're right now working like other 2-3 cities for I'm talking about for the policy, how this work in the like charging station industry. For the RFP process going like time only for when this company asking like investment from city. Let's say RFP going only time from when city wanna buy and city wanna own all the structure. So at this time, we wanted like all the investment, all the operation and maintenance, everything that's coming from Apollo 7 side. We bring investment, we put everything, construction A to Z. Just like city needed to be partnership us, city needed to support for us, just like permitting situation and the power connection part, and everything that's coming from our side. Let's say for leasing situation, that's from the policy that's the fixed too. So any type of like contract in the charging station industry, starting from 10 years, that's the minimum agreement because that's needed for utility company too. So 10 years, the lease agreement from city, but for about like, but don't have in the fixed rent, about like rent we're paying in the profit share. And you need to be city on this property. Let's say after 10 years, we staying in all the charging station equipment in the state on for the city. That's the policy.
Mr. Mayor?
All right, so probably at this time, the best thing to do,
Mr. Mayor,
yes, go ahead.
I've got one more question.
Go ahead.
So you did mention lighting. Okay, solar lighting, or what kind of lighting is it? Can you elaborate?
Lights.
So are you asking the power through solar, or are you asking?
Yeah, solar.
No, that's
Okay.
no, just like
Thank you.
need to connect it from grid, like 3-phase.
All right, thank you.
So with that, probably if council is considering an analysis in the future for EV stations, staff would probably need direction from the majority of the council, and then staff can follow up with that. So do we need a motion or just all right, so it would need at least 2 members of the council to give staff direction, and I would move to give staff direction to come back in the future with some kind of presentation or proposals to the council. Is there a second?
I will second it, Mr. Mayor.
Roll call, please. Oh, I'm sorry, there's no need for a roll call because it's just direction. All right, all right. All right, well, thank you so much. All right, next we have item number 2, presentation by Happy Baines, Finance Director and Assistant City Manager, fiscal year 2025-2026, mid-year budget review.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Temp, members of the council, city staff, and members of the public. Happy Baines Finance Department. Today I'll be going over the fiscal year 25-26 mid-year budget. Each year, the city council adopts an operating budget that commits resources which are used to provide services to the public. The council adopted fiscal year 25-26 budget on June 17, 2025. The current fiscal year began on July 1, 2025, and will go through June 30, 2026. Just an economic update. U.S. economy remains resilient. The GDP is up 2.1 in quarter 2 of 2025, which is April, May, and June. Inflation has moved past its peak, above Federal Reserve at 2% target. Sales growth grew 2.1% for second half of 2025 at the state level. So little information about the city of Livingston. Property values grew 3.5%, which is $47.3 million in new value. Change in ownership added almost $8.6 million in total value. Median sales price increase of $37,500. Second quarter 2025, median sale price was $430,000, where second quarter in 2024 was $392,500. Looking at our operating budget for our general fund, as of December 30, 2025, we have collected 18% of the revenue through the second quarter. Our major sales, property in lieu in tax, vehicle license fees are not received until the third and fourth quarter of the fiscal year, which is our major part of our general fund. Other revenues not received until the third and fourth quarters are for the community facility districts, landscape and lighting districts, and the benefit assessment districts. Measure L revenues are projected versus actuals are on target. Our non-general areas revenues are on track for this year. LMDs, BAD, CADs I went over. Expenditures across the board are within our budget. So our capital improvement plan. So over the past couple of years, our Public Works Department has been very busy with our engineering department to get our CIP projects completed. They focus on public safety, infrastructure reliability, park amenities, ADA compliance, water quality, and long-term community resilience. Many multi-year projects have moved from planning to execution, with several nearing completion in the current fiscal year. Long-term water and sewer projects are on track, addressing regulatory requirements and aging infrastructure. Multiple multi-year projects are positioned to transition from design to construction in fiscal year 26-27. The city's investment reflects a strong commitment to the public safety, quality of life, and sustainability and growth. We have listed a few of the large projects from our capital improvement plan. A lot of these projects you guys see that are getting completed around town. The first two right there, Max Foster Phase 1 and 2, that's in progress, and it should be expected to completed sometime this month. Renovation to well 11 In progress, basically they used budget for well 9 rehab. Expected completion is May of '26. GAC media replacement for well 8 and 16. The GAC media replacement for well 16 on February 26th and well 8 in March of 2026. We have a few lift stations that are in progress that are going to start in May and should be completed by the end of the year in December. Arcadian Park currently has been awarded, and the completion of that should be end of this month, I believe. So that's kind of a quick overview of the mid-year budget. If you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. We do have Public Works here if you guys have any questions for them, or the Engineers Department for any of the projects that are out there.
Thank you, Happy. Council, are there any questions?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, go ahead.
No questions. We'd just like to make a couple comments related to the report. When we had this same discussion last year, Council, if you can recall, there were a number of projects from fiscal year 23-24 onward that had been funded in previous years, but we'd yet to expend any of our money. So the stuff that we were putting money towards that was lagging behind, and I think over the last year, it was shown in the presentation and within our staff report, there has been a ton of work done as Mr. Baines just relayed to get those capital improvement projects moving. And so I would like to thank staff from City Manager, Public Works Department, Engineering onward for moving those forward, because that was a concern raised a year prior, and I like the progress of how all of that's coming along. So thank you guys for that.
Council, anything else? I do have one question, and I apologize for not having the opportunity to ask this again, but it's just a small item, just a small question on page 29 of the agenda. Towards the bottom, and this is, we're looking at the budget adopted projects, vehicles, equipment, and improvements. But this is probably maybe for City Manager or Public Works. I see an item that says turf renovation project in front of council chambers, cost for turf, sand, and all that. Can you tell us where's that at? Is that right in front of the city council or city hall? No?
Yeah, that project was supposed to take place right in front, the grass area right here in the front. And staff is planning to schedule that for May to start pulling out the grass and sprinkler system here in the front and replacing it with artificial turf.
Okay.
That's just the area right
Just
here in front
just
of the
here.
council chambers.
Okay. Yeah, well, thank you. I think having grass over there looks nice, you know. Even though I'm a big fan of saving water and conserving water and all of that, but I think that I would want it I would be of the opinion of saving grass in front of City Hall. But this is a small area, so was there a consideration of that or instead of concrete?
No. Right now, we're planning to replace the front in a conservation efforts. Again, water conservation.
Yeah.
But just replacing the front of the council chambers with artificial turf. Right now, we haven't really discussed any type of turf installation around City Hall, on the front at least, not yet.
Okay. And then right below that, you know, you guys mentioned the solar lighting, 2 lights on Barcelona, Main Street and Montcliff, and you guys already received those lamps. And do you have an idea of? I think I read it somewhere. You know what? It's right below. They're to be completed in March. Montcliff, Barcelona lights are expected to be completed early April. Main Street expected to be completed by the end of March. So I just wanted to give the community a heads up on those items that they had requested a while back.
Yeah, that's correct, Mayor. We have received all the lighting equipment that we budgeted for this fiscal year. The installation of the solar street lights have been installed on Montcliff. The next phase will be on Main Street. Staff is USAing the area now for excavation for the street lights.
And then, and then I just wanted to also take the opportunity, a while back, residents inquire about those lights that were out over by Yamato. And I'm not sure if I remember letting them know, but the information back was that when they were doing that renovation at Yamato, something happened with the wiring, and that's why the lights were not working. And I believe school district is looking into that to have that construction company come back and potentially fix those lights.
Yeah, that's correct. Staff has communicated and been in contact with the school district, and they have it on their radar already, and they're already scheduling the contractor to come and remedy that scenario, that situation where they cut some of the lights, the wiring.
Yeah. So once again, your feedback and your recommendations or questions, that's another way for us to know what's going on in your neighborhood, because, a lot of times we might not become aware, and then once you let us know, then we ask staff to look into it, and that's how we can get some of those items fixed. Thank you. I have no further questions.
Just a quick follow-up on also, we do have 2 lights out on Robin that are being looked at as well, and those will be remedied here pretty soon. This is a ground short problem there.
Thank you. Council, anything else? All right, thank you, guys. Next, we have County Supervisor announcements and reports. Supervisor Jim Pacheco.
Good evening, Council, and happy St. Patrick's Day. Just a couple of things. We had our board meeting today, and probably the biggest thing to note was we had a report from the California Association of Counties on HR1 and what the impact is going to be with the county and counties actually up and down the state. And probably the biggest takeaway is there's a lot of unknowns. So I think we're going to work with them and work with the state as far as any issues that come down, and as things become known, we'll be able to mitigate those problems. But there is going to be an impact with the county and the county budget. That was probably the biggest thing for our supervisors meeting today. I just want to mention we will be having a special meeting and a state of the county on Friday. It will be at the Art Commercial Theater in Merced, starting at 10:30. It'll be about an hour-and-a-half presentation about all the things that are going on with the county. So I encourage everybody to come down, and you can either watch it in person. It'll also be live streamed. So come down to see what's going on with the county. And that's all I have for now. Unless anybody has anything for me.
Council, any questions?
Yeah, Mr. Pacheco.
Yes.
A quick piece on HR1. If there's any resources or information that you can share on that, like briefs that have been developed. I'm not sure if the county's lobbyists have taken a deep dive into it. That would be greatly appreciated.
Like right now?
No, just if we can, if you have any materials that you can share for us
I
to
can do that.
review over
Like I said,
email.
they gave us a pretty good presentation. And like I said, there's just a lot of unknowns. We're still waiting on obviously what the federal government's going to do and what the state's going to do. They've been kind of silent on some of their, how the funding is going to come down. So, but yes, I can most certainly make the council aware if there's anything that's going to be of significance. Okay?
One question.
Yes.
I saw that the county is putting out a list of roads that are going to be resurfaced and repaved,
Yes.
or maybe a combination. Is there going to be still going to be an opportunity to consider other areas that are not on the list in the meantime? That residents might be having a concern about, or is that pretty much all that is going to be able to be done for the next couple of years?
No. So that's the list of just this measure. This is not. We're also going to get money from Measure V that will be ongoing roads. There'll be other roads that are going to be repaired and looked at throughout the year. This is just for this bonding measure for these roads. But other than that, that's just they have other money above and beyond that they'll be able to Yes, so we can. we'll be
Okay,
able
so
to-
there's,
Yes.
so residents can still, check in with the county and,
Yes.
about
Yes.
other areas of concern, like Robin and West Side. I still, I remember that street every time I drive by. It's very bad, and it seems like every Sunday I go to the Carnitas over there, I get that reminder.
Yeah. Well, I know
Yeah.
I put it in there.
Yeah.
Did they do any work on it at all?
No, not yet, not as of last Sunday.
Okay, I will follow up on that. But yes, we'll be able to submit some other project
Yeah.
that would be,
All right,
okay?
thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Thank you.
I got
Yes.
one more.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Jim, since you're here, I did have a complaint from a community member. Out on the end of Peach, on the on-ramp, there's a couple of mattresses out there they were complaining about, and I know that's county, so if you could look into that,
Okay,
they'd
yeah,
appreciate
I'll
it.
let our DPW department know.
All right,
So, okay?
thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
More?
Just,
Go ahead.
well, I haven't even asked him any questions yet. I just want to say, Supervisor Pacheco, I look forward to seeing you Thursday at the MCAG meeting.
I look forward to being
And I
there.
appreciate your support.
Of course, of course.
Anything else? All
All
right.
right, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
All right, next we have announcements and reports, city staff announcements and reports.
We got Jackie. It's good.
All right, Jackie and her 40 people department report.
Yes, I can make a quick list of a few things I can remember. It's a pleasure to be here this evening, see everybody's smiling faces and working for the city here. So I just wanted to update you, if you guys have not been on our social media pages, go, because they are really getting filled up. I have one of the little girls that comes in the afternoon is a pro, and she's been really making sure everything is cycling through on both Instagram and Facebook. So the color run is just around the corner. We are getting, it's just, the information is flowing in. It's on May 16th. Those of you that have helped in the past, hopefully you can come again. I don't know what we would do without you two heading people out on the court, and so, anyway, May 16th. We are trying out for the first time a succulent swap that is coming up, and my hidden agenda on that is to hopefully form a garden club that can start helping us with projects downtown and around town in the area of gardening, as well as our community garden. If you didn't notice, baseball practice started today. We have in excess of 400 kids. So it's always fun to go out and watch families in their lawn chairs watching their kids run around. It's really encouraging. Even I love to go out and watch it. We will be putting cinder mix out at Little Guys Field, which is a much needed rehab. That'll be happening within the next couple of weeks, and volunteers are putting that out for us, so that's wonderful. Swim team's opening up registration on April 1st. Flag football opens up April 1st. We are working on finding funding for purchasing the railroad property adjacent to the sports complex. Let's see. Recently, we got to participate in Ian J. Gallo's health fair, and it was really neat. I did not realize how many Livingston people work out there. I mean, it seemed like common sense, but it was neat seeing all these old coaches, new coaches, and they are actually helping us this year with the color run. Not only are they going to run a station, they're bringing a team, and they are also providing all the bandanas that go as part of our little gift package. So anyway, it's great developing a relationship with Ian J. Gallo. Music in the Park. Those of you that like music in the park, we're working on all the bands, getting them lined up. I did recently post them on Facebook on our events page, and we just found out on the one to be announced that Cover 5 will be coming back. Allison Van Gelder, who is one of our LHS graduates, and her husband as well. So let's see, what else do I have? We were working on the budget. I'm now working on trying to find if we move in there next year, at least to the office end of it, and the senior center and the teen center wind up opening up on that end, what's that going to cost us? So we're working on analyzing those costs. All right, I think that's it.
Council, any questions, comments?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Hey, Jackie, just one quick question. How are we doing with the fireworks? Is everything going according to plan?
Well, so it was supposed to be on this agenda, and we had a little setback with the contract. And so we needed to send, when it was, the new contract was sent to them, the sales rep said, I worked here 50 years, there's no way we're gonna use anybody else's contract. So then, the attorney's office got a hold of them, they're working on something. We're supposed to pay them their deposit by April 1st, so we're hoping that, that it all
So we're in
falls
a
into
bit of a
place.
time crunch. So, Mr. Tran, where are we at with that?
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to respond to that question. So we are negotiating that contract. We're waiting to hear back from them, and the rest of it is, these are pending negotiations that I would rather not discuss in open session.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you. Thank you, Jackie.
Okay,
Thank you, Jackie.
all right.
Do we have any other city staff reports? All right, next we have city manager announcements and reports.
Yes, Mr. Mayor and Council and esteemed public, I got a few things. We are moving forward with the asbestos remediation at the Rexplex. You guys are probably aware of the front portion where the offices used to be for the Livingston Farmers Association. So we're moving ahead with the asbestos removal there. That's one. And then two, just want to let everybody know that we are hosting the city-county dinner. That's our turn. It's going to be at the Swan Building. And I wanted to just to give a thank you and a shout out to Patricia, who we call Paz, who's out in the audience. She's helping us. We're going to have a few little surprises. I don't want to say exactly what it is that we're going to have, but I just wanted to thank you very much for helping our city. It's on the 23rd, again, at the Swan Building. And then lastly, I just wanted to share some really good news. The three projects that we put forward for CMAQ funding with MCAG were actually approved. In that list, you might recall, there was the Newcastle pedestrian improvements. I know that was it 4 projects? Okay, I'm missing one. So you get to say what that fourth one is. So we have the Arcadian Park Path improvements, the Newcastle pedestrian improvements, and the Winton Parkway Path improvements. Which one am I missing? Oh, okay, the Stefani one, okay. So we got all 4, and some of these projects are gonna take, we gotta go through, first they have to pass the F-tip, and that's probably gonna happen at the end of December of this year. And then we have to go through some design work, and then after that, we'll go into construction. So these will take a little while, but happy that we got the funding for all 4. Thank you. That's all on my end.
Council, any questions? Just one quick question. Can you give us a more or less timeframe for the completion of the Recplex? Because I know we have like a deadline from the grant requirements. How is that looking?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Very good question. So everything is on track. We currently, the design of the facility has been completed. The actual applications, all the plans have been submitted. The architect is actually receiving comments from all the different divisions. I believe that the only 2 that we're waiting for comments is from fire. And I know we got a lot of fire in the house here today. And then we also are waiting for comments from, I believe it's building. But everybody else is pretty much, there's comments back, and there'll be a second submittal. So we're looking forward to, starting construction. What's going to happen is we will then go out to bid. So we'll be going out to bid this year for sure, and then there'll be a selection of the contractor, and then construction will start. So I anticipate us completing the project before December of 2027, which is the deadline, and that's when the doors actually have to open. Now, a side note to all of that, so we're going to be building a new building, but in addition to that, we also have the park across the street, and so we went after some other grants, and we're looking at other funding sources, and so all of that kind of stuff is tied together, and so we anticipate to meet the actual elements that the grant requires. So we're in constant contact with the state.
All right, thank you for that. Next, we have conflict of interest declaration. Members of the City Council will declare an actual or apparent conflict of interest before discussions or decisions about any matter in which they or anyone with whom they have a personal relationship could directly or indirectly benefit, or with such a benefit could be perceived. Council, are there any conflict of interest declarations? Seeing none, we're moving forward. Next, we have the consent agenda. In the consent agenda, we have items 3, 4, and 5. Items on the consent calendar are considered routine or non-controversial and will be enacted by one vote unless separate action is requested by a member of the public, city manager, or council member. Council, are there any additional questions or motions for items 3, 4, and 5 in the consent agenda?
Mr. Mayor, make a motion we approve 3, 4, and 5 as written.
Is it 3, 4, and 6?
3, 4, and 5.
And I will second that, Mr. Mayor.
So we have a motion on the floor by Mr. Wallace, and then second by Mayor Pro Tem. And at this time, I will go out for public comment. Is there any citizen comments in regards to consent agenda items 3, 4, and 5? Anyone on the phone at 807? Hearing none, coming back to the chamber. Any citizen comments in the chamber? Seeing none, closing the citizen comments at 807. Roll call, please.
Roll call. Councilmember Ross?
Yes.
Councilmember Upal?
Yes.
Councilmember Wallace?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Samra?
Yes.
Mayor Moran?
Yes.
Motion passes by a vote of 5-0.
Okay, quick question for council. Do you guys want to do 6 first and then 9, or 9 first and then 6?
Let's do 9 first.
9.
Okay, so let's do 9, discussion and direction on appointing 4 applicants to the Parks, Recreation, and Arts Commission.
Good evening, everyone. Nice to see you this evening. So if I could have all of our applicants come and sit on the front row, that way, if they have questions for you, they'll know who the applicants are.
I thought she was staff. No, I didn't. I know that.
So as you know, we have had a number, for the last 25 years, we've had a lot of different folks come through our rec commission, and it's like we get the busiest people to continue to be busy on the rec commission. So we've had some turnover because it has proved to be too much. And so you guys, a few years ago, instead of us having 5, we went to 7 with 2 alternates. And so right now we have only 3, so we need to put 4 more to bring us up to what we need, and we will still be looking for those 2 alternates. So I have had, you guys have the report before you, you've seen it, and rather than naming names, people that have left for one reason or another.
Jackie, Mike, please. Mike.
But tonight, I have 4 applicants Miss Linda Placencia, who has spent 4 years with us and has put her application in. We have Anel Gata, who has been one of our coaches and an active member. We have Julia Diaz, who I got to coach her beautiful little kid on baseball, and she's really active and walking and attends all the events, and so we would be blessed to have her a part. And we also have Juan Perez. He's young. That's what we're really, and he has muscles, I'm sure. So when we go out for those special events, he is going to be a great asset to the Rec Commission. So each of these will have, well, the dates are actually on the resolution. They will all, except one, expire January 31st of 2030, and then the one would expire January 31st, 2028. And if you will recall, we tried to alternate everybody so that we don't have 7 people gone at the same time. So you would appoint one of them to complete their term 2028 and the rest 2030. So we have published, we've actually kept it published since we have had the turnover, and it is still on the website that people can apply for the alternate positions. And one of our code does say that one has to reside, or one may reside outside the sphere of influence as long as they are in the Livingston Union School District. And actually, Ms. Placencia, who used to live over, what was that, Old or First?
Well, I'm on F Street now. I have 2 residents. It's on F Street and Long.
So anyway, and without further ado, if you guys would like to ask them questions or to introduce themselves, we would love to do that.
I think we would appreciate if you guys want to introduce yourselves and say a few words, or maybe just why you, I mean, we read your applications, but more than anything, just introduce yourselves and what are some of the goals or your vision, and so that people watching can hear what they are.
Let's start with you, Anel, and then we'll just go right down the line, if that's okay.
Well, hello. Thank you for having me. My name is Anel Gaeta. Like Jackie said, I've been here my whole life, and I have a little kid, so I'm very involved with sports, so the rec. I love that, and I thrive seeing little kids, involved in sports. Right now, I am coaching at Summer Herndon for TK to first grade. I was currently coaching, like a month ago, LCAP in Merced for wrestling. So Jackie did mention that she's thinking about starting something for wrestling. I'm really excited because that's my favorite sport. So honestly, that's my main thing is sports. So that's where I want to see the thrive in Livingston community. So I just want to get more involved in any way I can help. Love kids, and I love that Livingston's involved in all kinds of sports. When I first started, it was through the Junior Giants. And although you guys don't have that program anymore, I know there's other things to get involved and new things happening. So that's kind of the main thing that I want to see thrive, the sports, things of that sort.
Thank you.
Good evening, guys. How are you doing today? Well, I am so excited to see the new faces coming aboard. I just absolutely love it. I have loved being a part of the Parks and Rec Commission. It's been an absolute joy working with Jackie and Tony, and getting to know the community in a whole has been absolutely wonderful. And you said it perfectly, getting involved, keeping our children involved in everything, outdoors and recreational and sports. It's absolutely wonderful to be a part of that. And we have absolutely a lot of brain ideas coming soon. A lot of exciting things to keep families and kids moving. And I just love being a part of it. And I want to thank you all so much. And thank you, Jackie.
Thank you.
My name is Julia Diaz. Good afternoon. I grew up around the Livingston area. I actually graduated from here from Livingston, and I recently moved back. I've been a resident here for 2 years. I'm currently involved. Well, I tried my best to be involved in any volunteer opportunity that I get a chance to participate in. And I just love being here and being part of the community and giving something back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Juan Perez. Good afternoon. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to be more involved with my community and give back to the community. I'm a fresh graduate. I graduated May of last year, so I'm grateful for the opportunity to meet new people and gain experience. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. So I just want to say thank you to all 4 of you for applying, and I think, every commission and every department and every committee are important, but there's something special about recreation because we get to work, or you guys get to work with the most people out there in the community, especially the youth, and you guys are the ones that really get to see what we don't see, and so great. Thank you. All right. And something I think I just want to make sure that Jackie didn't mention this to you guys before you guys applied. Something that she is starting with the new members of Recreation Commission is they have to run 4 miles around the city. All right. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm sure you all would be able to do that.
Yeah, isn't the mayor supposed to lead them?
Yeah, the first block. Thank you. Thank you, guys. All right. So I guess at this time, council, is there any questions, comments? But I always want to give you guys an opportunity first before I go for public comment. Anything?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I'd just like to thank all the commissioners for applying. You guys already are clearly doing things in the community, or taking even more time and investing into our rec program, which I think we would all agree is the strongest thing that we do. In Livingston, I mean, Jackie literally just said it, we have 400 kids in baseball, which is huge. And so thank you for continuing to step up and try to make Livingston a more fun place.
Anything else?
Yeah, just a quick one for Ms. Gaeta. Any relation to other Gaetas in town? Ismael, and then, yeah. Yeah. Because I've known him for a long time, and because I remember Gaeta means cookie, so it's always sad, So that's just curious. I mean, thank you. And first of all, everybody, thank you for applying. Recreation is important, and love to see, I hope nobody takes it, but the young guy involved. I'm not sure why Jackie mentioned you by young guy, but it's okay, But, graduating a year ago and participating, that says a lot. Thank you all for applying and willing to contribute your time. Thank you.
Mr. Wallace?
Yeah, one quick one, Jackie. I won't hold it against you, but one of these candidates, I've been trying for 2 years to get to volunteer for the Planning Commission. So I'm going to have to regroup and see why you snagged her and I couldn't.
Well, I can answer that.
All right, so at this time, I will go out for public comment at 8:19. Is there any public comment on the phone? Hearing none, coming back to the chamber. Any public comment in the chamber? Seeing none coming forward, closing the public comment 8:19. Council, if there are no other questions, I will consider, actually, I will motion to approve. Oh, actually, discuss each one at a time? Okay. All right. Okay, then let me go back to number 9. See who's first. Monica's just making us work
I know.
4
You
times as
volunteered.
hard.
The last page, Mr. Mayor.
All right, so
Attachments.
All right, I think I found it. All right, first we have a resolution to appoint Linda Plasencia to the Parks and Recreation Arts Commission. Is there a motion? I'll make a motion.
Second.
For which one?
Because there's some that are. There's just one. There's only one for that
For the
ends
2028.
2028. The rest in 2030.
Let's make it easy because I know she's going to apply again anyway, so let's do Linda for 2028. Is that? Yeah. And then if not, maybe she can switch to the planning commission. So Linda for 2028.
I will second it.
Roll call, please.
Roll call, Councilmember Roth,
Yes.
Councilmember Upal,
Yes.
Councilmember Wallace,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Samra,
Yes.
Mayor Moran.
Yes.
Motion passes by a vote of 5-0.
Okay, so next, Jackie, all of the other ones are for 2030? Okay. And then I'll make a motion resolution to appoint Anael Gaeta to the Parks and Recreation and Arts Commission 2030.
I will second it.
Roll call?
Roll call, Councilmember Roth,
Yes.
Councilmember Upal,
Yes.
Councilmember Wallace,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Samra,
Yes.
Mayor Moran.
Yes.
Motion passes by a vote of 5-0.
And then I'll make a motion for a resolution to appoint Julia Diaz to the Parks and Recreation and Arts Commission to 2030.
I will second it.
Roll call?
Roll call, Councilmember Roth,
Yes.
Councilmember Upal,
Yes.
Councilmember Wallace,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Samra,
Yes.
Mayor Moran.
Yes.
Motion passes by a vote of 5-0.
I'll make a motion for a resolution to appoint Juan Perez to the Parks, Recreation, and Arts Commission 2030.
I will second it.
Roll call?
Councilmember Roth,
Yes.
Councilmember Upal,
Yes.
Councilmember Wallace,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Samra,
Yes.
Mayor Moran.
Yes.
Motion passes by a vote of 5-0.
Thank you and congratulations. You are more than welcome to stay if you want until we're done.
We have a
like-
quick meeting with
Oh.
this group of people.
Okay. A quick what? Meeting? All right. Thank you. All right, next we have item number 6, consideration of adopting a resolution approving the City of Livingston traffic calming programs for establishing formal guidelines and procedures for implementing traffic calming requests within residential neighborhoods.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I asked for this one to be pulled. I think when I first introduced the traffic calming was several years ago. I think there's a lot of different aspects of this that are very important. So I would like staff to kind of just give an overview in case you guys have any questions. So engineering is here and they will give a little overview of the traffic calming program.
Yes, and I know Anthony Chavarria was going to be here, but he's not feeling well, so he had to leave. Yeah, but I'll just handle this. I don't know if all of you have had a chance to take a look at this. Let me get my little sheet. So basically, this program establishes some formal guidelines and procedures for implementing traffic calming devices through requests from the public, mainly from the public. So city staff receives inquiries very often to do bumps, stop signs, crosswalks, those types of things. So this program outlines the qualifying criteria and all the requirements to follow, to be able to implement those. And the devices used, they're pre-approved primarily through MUTCD, which controls all these traffic calming devices. And that's pretty much it. There's a number of, on this final draft, there's a number of items that actually are still highlighted. And those are the ones that we primarily felt that we would need some input from the council, because there's amounts, there's timelines, there's percentages of owners that need to request this to be implemented. So all those. If you'd like, I can go through these highlighted items, or if you want to ask questions on those, whichever way you want to do it.
I think if you go just kind of expand a little bit just on the highlighted items, I think
Sure.
they're important, and then so that residents have that context on.
Yeah, I feel for that. Yeah, sure. I know the main thing is going to be money, of course. Being able to appropriate some funds for that. We put a number of 60,000 there on that item 7, but obviously that's a number that can, for consideration, you know, so that the one on item 11 is the period of time and the amount and the percentage of owners that would be required to be pro installing these devices. So after these devices are installed, if after 1 year, 12 months, the installation, at least 75% of the property owners wants the traffic to be removed, then there's a process to follow to get that. And again, these are percentages that they're placeholders. So for the council to provide some input on. Minimum criteria for this is, these are basically for residential areas. Well, this stuff is for residential areas. So one of the criteria is being a local street, which means that you have a maximum speed limit of 25 miles an hour. And that's where I think you see most of the requests is on these local streets, because some people have a tendency to speed. And there's criteria to evaluate that, because you have to do some counts and see out of how many cars that go through that street, how many do speed, and how much do they speed, how often do they speed, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of criteria here. Can we bump that to page 6? Oh, I think Monica's not there. Sorry. I think we lost Monica.
Page 6?
Yeah, keep going. Yeah, keep going. Yeah. There you go. There you go. So, again, on qualifying criteria, be at least 500 feet in length. You don't want to do this in these little short blocks. You want to have a standard block, which is 450 up to 500 feet in length, and have a average daily traffic volume of 800 vehicles. So again, another proposed criterion here is that at least 5% of the vehicles travel at a speed higher than 30 miles per hour. And it's pretty self-explanatory. In addition to primary criteria, if the request is related to increased volume, then at least 10% of the volumes of the vehicles on an average day must be through traffic, or 20% of vehicles within a 1-hour peak period, whichever is last. So I don't know if you want to discuss, ask questions as we go, wait till the end, because this is kind of a little confusing sometimes. Yeah.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, go ahead.
First off, thank you for coming tonight to present on this. I believe the entire council does have the staff report to be able to see all the highlighted items. And so happy to pick apart as council would like. There are at least a couple that I would ask council to consider providing some direction on, so I'll just go ahead and relay those right now. So first off, when we're discussing signatures from property owners, like the threshold, what percentage of property owners do we feel need to sign on before moving forward with the process? I would ask that council consider a move from 75% to 66%, so it'd be the 2/3 threshold rather than the 3/4, similar to the threshold for a special tax, I believe, in the city, if we were to put something like that on the ballot. And so I would be comfortable with the 66% threshold.
Yeah, and that's on page 9 of the report.
Mario, yeah.
One more, go one more. Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah, right there.
75% adjacent property owner.
If I can ask you,
Yes.
for you to expand on the reasoning,
Yeah, those are basically criteria used by the industry. So a lot of the cities that have these programs, they're in that ballpark. So you can have 75, you can go 80, 60, whatever the pleasure of the council is, or whoever's approving that, whatever body is approving that. So these are relatively uniform throughout these programs. Yeah.
So as I analyze this, and I'm thinking that possibly the idea behind it is, if we have 75% of the neighbors in that area, we're for sure not going to have too many complaints, and they're okay with it. I do remember some years ago, and I don't remember exactly if, probably at least 5-6 years ago, there were some bumps that were installed. I believe it's
Was on
F3, right? And
Yes.
then they were later removed. I don't remember, or I don't recall what the reason was. If you can.
I think, this is secondhand information, but I believe most of the folks that went through those bumps didn't care for it, and the people that really sped through them with raised pickups, they loved it because it was a little hump, to go over. So it was counterproductive somewhat. That's what I gathered from that.
I think it was also the design of it, actually.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of, there's humps
it was a
and
bad
lumps and
design.
undulations and all kinds of different things.
And people were going around it. And,
They go around it, yeah.
And I think part of it was that small cars would go around it, like on the edge, and But can you give us an idea what would be the cost, not only to install them, but the cost of the whole?
It depends on what you install. You have prefab, I'll call them bumps, that are temporarily installed. They bolted on, you can remove them. You have some that are permanently installed. You have some undulations that are split for emergency vehicles to go through. Cars have to hit at least one, emergency vehicles go right through the whole thing.
So I think you mentioned another important thing with speed bumps, and fire department is not here, but one of the previous comments was the fire trucks or everyone has to slow down when they're going through on an emergency, and whether it is 5-10 seconds, by the time they're slowing down, their approach, they bump, and another 3-4 seconds, and then they got to speed up. That's 15-20 seconds, 30. When somebody's having a heart attack, it's
Yes. Same with police.
Yeah.
Emergency vehicles, they normally don't like those. You can have the ones that are split in pieces, and the big trucks make it through it. Police cars don't. A car is narrower, and it's not gonna work. So it's pros and cons. The other con of having these is people that don't like those, they can pick a different route. If you have them on F, if you don't want to hit those, you go around, go to another street, wherever you're going. So that's another possible downside of having these. So there's a variety of these devices, and they all have pros and cons.
Yeah, so the only thing I think you know, as I analyze Mr. RuPaul's suggestion, I think it's also, we need to be considerate of, if we only have 66%, then we're gonna have 34% of people that are not gonna be happy about it, and, you know, so we have to wait it out. But anyways, just something to think about, but I guess we should be okay.
So, yeah, pleasure of the council, if we want to do 66, or, so, that's why we have it here, and these things are highlighted, because we felt you'd be the ones to provide final input on these.
What else
items.
do we have?
We have the property owners or renters. Normally, renters are not allowed to have an opinion on this, but some cities would rather have also renters, or some renters. There's, again, some nuances there. Yeah. So do we, going back to that 75, is the pleasure of the council to do the 66?
I think, Councilmember Rupo, you said 66? I'm okay with that. I will second that one.
66? 66. Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Govea just mentioned the item related to renters.
Yeah.
So this is something that I actually flagged a little bit before the meeting that I would like council to consider. I would be open to opening up this opportunity for renters to be able to weigh in. Now, I know there may be concerns with that, especially if folks are only at a property for a temporary period. So if we want to discuss nuances around folks that have been living there for at least a year, folks whose property owners are outside of the city of Livingston, because if they're outside of the city, they're likely harder to reach. If the property owners are within the city, they're likely easier to reach. I'm open to adding in some of those guardrails to make sure that there's not abuse by temporary folks that are staying there. However, even if folks are renting, they are living in those streets. If they have children, they're also playing in those streets, right? They want to see things addressed if they're facing issues. And as we know, the housing market is out of control. And we likely are going to have more and more renters rather than homeowners. So just something to consider with that piece. I would definitely like to open it up to renters. If there's any slight rails that we want to set along with that, open to those conditions, but I would not like to have language that prohibits any renter from being able to sign on here.
Yeah, you may want to consider the term, you know, if they're there for a year or 2 years, then they'll be able to have an opinion.
Right.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
And again, I agree with Councilmember Rupo. In some areas, all we have is apartments. That means if we have an area with large apartments, and nobody can vote. That means you can literally have 4 people decide yea or nay, you know? So
Correct.
one side is homes, one side is apartments. So I think we should open it up. I'm not even sure how we're gonna track how long they've been living there. So I think it would be better, just simpler to say they can do this, you know?
I have a question, maybe, I'm not sure if you can answer this. When there's a request to install speed bumps, who normally pays for the process, the cost?
Yeah, it's in here, and yeah, it's something that, and I'm not quite sure exactly where this is now, but it's towards the back here, and there's a cost associated with installing it, and if it's requested to be removed, there's a cost associated with removing them too. And it is, I think the city will participate in some of it, but it's also borne by the folks that want to have those. And that kind of limits a lot of the frivolous type of requests. I want them bumps in front of my house, that sort of thing.
If I can get some help finding that exactly, because I think it's
Let me
important.
see if I can find it here.
Cost, I did go through this, but I didn't remember seeing it. But then again, I was finishing it at 2 o'clock in the morning, so maybe. Maybe I gotta stop doing that.
Yeah, I actually don't readily see it. Do you see it? Complete, complete and submit a non-cost traffic calming installation application.
What page is that?
That's on 9. Yeah.
Page 9, item number what?
Yeah, first one. Yeah.
First one?
Yes, on top. Yeah.
Complete, well, it says no cost traffic application.
Yeah,
So-
the application is no cost, but the
cost.
installation, that would be a cost associated to it. I don't see it here, but that's something that I think it should be considered. Leafing through this, if you go to page 12, that's the ones that are split for emergency vehicles. Yeah, it shows cost, but it doesn't have a number. So that should be something, I believe, that should be included in this program. And the costs do vary quite a bit depending on
Did you
on the-
mention,
on the type.
did you mention the average cost?
I would say the average cost is probably, for one set, it's probably like between 5,000 and 10,000, somewhere in there. Yeah.
And so I guess that's where it comes in, you know, about neighbors being okay with having that installed because they have to pay for it also, whether it's 50%, 80%. And then, so what would happen if 3 neighbors are not in agreement? Do they still have to pay, or how does that work?
Well, if they're within that 66%, then they would have to have the willingness to pay whatever it's attributed to their portion. Yeah.
So only those that approve it are the ones that pay for it?
That would, yes. Yeah, that's normally the way the ones that want it, you know, that 66% that
Okay.
wants would pay for it. Because
Okay,
if I'm on the 33%, say, I don't want it, I'm not gonna pay for it.
okay.
Yeah.
So I guess that needs to be clarified somewhere here.
Yes, it needs to be added. I actually
Yeah.
don't see it, so maybe, I thought it was in there, but
Okay, so maybe we just need to add that clarification that whatever number is council decides to go with, whether it's 66 or 75, that those
Yes.
that are okay with it have to pay for it, and they have to know that they have to pay for it in equal, you know, amounts.
yes.
And then maybe include something, current average cost for this, you know, I don't know, between 5 and 10, up to 15, depending on what they ask for
Yes.
or what is recommended.
Yeah, I think we'll come up with that and have I guess, a current value type of little chart. So if you do the typical 15-mile-an-hour bump, it may be so much of a bump, or an average, so that people at least have an idea of what
And
this
then also-
would run.
Yeah, and then also I want to highlight page 15, traffic calming devices remove procedures. One of the items or the item that is highlighted is
Yeah,
that
number
if,
4. Yeah.
Yeah, number 4, if a speed bump is installed and then later neighbors request it to be removed, those or that area cannot come back and say, we want another one, a different one,
Right.
for 60 months.
Yeah,
From yeah, for
12
another 5
months,
years.
21, 5 years, yeah.
Oh, that's a good question. If it's removed, then obviously there's going to be a cost associated with
Correct.
who
Yeah.
pays that.
That'll be on, also.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, assigned to whoever wants to remove, at least partly. And on this, not this item 4, we're doing 60 months? It looks like there's 60 months there.
Sure.
So 5 years. You can, again, change that if you want.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Yeah, as long as all of that is spelled out in writing and folks know exactly what they're signing up for. And beauty of having documents like this, it's okay. Because we all know that stuff like this is tentative to change depending on what the uproar looks like at any specific moment in
Yes.
time. But this is very helpful to help guide that process.
These are very dynamic documents, so costs vary all the time, yearly. Now they vary every few months. So they're pretty, they're not fixed. And then the criteria and the rules and the all of that is also very fluid. So it's something that can be brought back yearly or however, whatever period. And the council can set that up, bring it back in 6 months, bring it back in a year. We'll look at it and tweak it if you need to.
And then just for clarification, if we can make sure that we have, because I know there was a traffic committee, and normally those applications or recommendations would come to the traffic committee.
They would.
Traffic committee makes recommendations to the city, and it doesn't have to come to the council, right?
So let's just say that we have a group of residents, they follow the procedures that the council adopted. They would go through all those procedures, and it would certainly go to the traffic committee. And then the traffic committee would then come and provide council a recommendation. Guess what? We have 66% of the residents, they all have said they want to pay, and we've collected the funds. This is the project, and so then council would have to approve, that project to move forward with it.
Mr. Mayor, a couple of questions.
Yes, go ahead.
On page 6, number 5, what are you going to what determines the ADT for the 800 vehicles? What is that specifically procedure on that?
That's traffic counts. You actually count vehicles physically, and you need to have at least a certain number of vehicles to qualify for that. So you don't want to, if there's a street that only has like 20 cars a day, it's not warranted. But if you have a certain number, in this case, what's here is the 800 vehicles, then you start looking at these options.
So that's going to be that would be a cost thing,
That
because you're
would
going to have to have somebody there.
definitely be a cost, unless that number exists, which on some of the streets it does exist, but then again, most of the time it's not up to date. Yeah, there's a few that are up to date, but very few.
And then my second question would be, with the renter issue, renters change all the time. So one renter could have put in they wanted it, and then the owners rented it to somebody else. That person doesn't want to pay because he or she or that family didn't vote for it. Right. And what mechanism is the city going to use to collect the money? Does it have to be collected ahead? Do they have to pay ahead? I mean, that's something that needs to be evaluated.
It would be paid ahead of the installation.
Not as a tax, so they're going to have to physically
it's
pay
like
ahead.
as a fee, yeah.
Yep, as a fee.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like you go to the store and buy something, you pay for it, that type of thing.
All right.
But the renters, a lot of the cities have issues with the renters. It's nice and fair to have everybody be able to do that. But then if you're there a couple of months and you leave, then who keeps track of that? That's the other thing. So that's kind of the flip side of that.
Yeah, that was my issue with the renters that Councilman Wu brought up, because they change. Renters don't stay.
Right.
I don't know how many renters would be in the same house for 5 years, but if it's especially in an apartment area or something, they're going to change quickly. So that I'm not sure if I like that part on the renters.
And so for the renters, I suppose we can bring back some options in terms of if it's a we can consider a long-term renter. What I'm not quite sure is to keep track of when people leave, because that's kind of if I'm there now and I vote to have a bump, the bump is installed, and then next week I leave, somebody else comes in there, how does the city keep track of that? That's kind of a tough one.
So I wonder if we might be opening a can of worms by adding the renters and not staying only with the owners of the home.
Yeah. Most of the cities around here that have these programs, and there's a fair number that do, all the ones that I know of is owners for that same reason, that it's tough to keep track of the renters.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I didn't consider that piece of this earlier. And given the nuances here and the potential for unpaid invoices, essentially, I would be open to restricting the property owners.
Okay. Yeah, it's a lot simpler, it's clear cut, but it does exclude rent. That's the flip side of it.
So I guess one of the other things is just probably we have to kind of continue having a conversation about is whether the 66 or the 75, which I think it would be good to have a conversation on that as when you come back. So I guess this item is to be continued. Unless council has any other questions, and then I'll go off. Did I go off for public comment yet? No? Okay, so at this time, 8:52 will go off for public comment. Is there anyone on the phone? Hearing none, coming back to the chamber, is there any public comment in the chamber at this time on this item? Seeing none, closing the public comment at 8:52, bringing it back to the dais. If there are no more questions or comments, I think direction is to continue this item for a future date.
Yeah, we'll do a final draft and bring it back, go from there.
Thank you. All right, so continue, we need a motion. I will motion to continue this item to a future date. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Councilmember Roth. Roll call, please.
Roll call, Councilmember Roth,
Yes.
Councilmember Upal,
Yes.
Councilmember Wallace.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Samar,
Yes.
Mayor Moran.
Yes,
Motion passes by a vote of 5-0.
thank you. So next we have public hearing. Yes, item number 7, consideration of waiving second reading and adopting of zoning text amendment number 2025-1, an ordinance amending Livingston Municipal Code, Title 5, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, related to housing development standards, including definitions of street parking, site plan and design review, density bonuses, use permits, ministerial approvals, emergency shelters, single-room occupancy, and residential and commercial uses and zoning matrix.
Mr. Mayor, I've got a question.
Yes.
Since I live within 500 feet of that, would I have to recuse myself on this item?
Give me 1 second.
Given that this involves a large-scale amendment to the zoning code, and this is on a second reading, I assume that the public generally exception would apply.
Which in simple words means?
To quote the vice mayor, yes, comma, you can vote.
All
Want to be safe.
Just wanna be clear, because not everyone, All right, got it, thank you. So you can stay. All right, so who has this item?
Miguel's on.
Oh, Miguel, are you on the phone? Miguel, can you hear us? Take us a few.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Miguel. Can you speak up a little bit?
Yes, I've been watching you on TV here. Yes, good evening, members of the City Council. Miguel Galvez, Contract City Planner. This item was presented at the city council meeting on March 3rd. Since that time, staff has not received any comments, concerns regarding the proposed ordinance amendment. It's the second reading. Staff recommends you see if there's any additional comments. If not, the recommendation is to continue to find that the proposed ordinance amendment is exempt under CEQA, to waive the second reading and adopt the ordinance approving the zoning ordinance text amendment 2025-01. I'm happy to respond to any questions. Again, we had a full presentation at the March 3rd meeting. I don't know if there's any additional questions since then.
Thank you, Miguel. Council, are there any questions? So at this time, I will go out for public comment at 8:56. Is there any public comment on the phone? Hearing none, coming back to the chamber, is there any citizen comments in the chamber? Please step forward and state your name for the record.
Good evening, members of the City Council. My name is Thomas Rourke. I'm a field rep with the Carpenters Union. I'm here tonight to request a continuance of item number 7 to a future meeting date. Our request is based on concerns that the proposed ordinance will create a parallel and unnecessary path for the streamlined approval of projects, but without the labor standards found in the current legislation, like AB 2011 and SB 423. As mentioned earlier, we already have one streamlined project in the city that does not meet the required labor standards and is in clear violation of the law with no enforcement in sight. We would therefore ask, if the city is going to create new ministerial approval processes, that there be a new procedure for the city staff to verify that projects which have labor standards and that these projects are complying. Put simply, a written plan on how the city will monitor projects with required labor standards to ensure they are compliant. And a clearly written plan on how the city staff should proceed when they find a non-compliant project, including revoking the project's conditional use permits. Creating a streamlined process does greatly benefit the developer and the city, but it does nothing for the workforce on the project, without including a requirement for labor standards like apprenticeship opportunities, prevailing wage rates, and healthcare expenditures. We fully support the city creating a streamlined process to get more housing built, but we want to make sure everybody benefits from it, not just the city and the developer. Again, we are asking for a continuance of this item to a future date so we can fully discuss this in greater detail to make sure nothing was inadvertently overlooked. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any additional citizen comments in the chamber? Seeing none, coming forward, I'm closing the citizen comments on this item at 8:58, bringing it back to the dais. Council, are there any questions?
I have one, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, go ahead.
And I don't know how far back it was, but we have years, maybe been 3-4 years ago, there's some small houses that have to be renewed so many years and get approval from the city that they can stay and be occupied. Does this affect them in any way? This will go back to maybe the vice mayor's, it's 4 or 5 years, but I remember the city council had to approve that those small little houses were eligible and they gave them an approval of it, but I don't know how often that comes up. It's just something that sticks in my mind, that they had to get council approval to keep them.
Do you mean for homes? For homes that were doing some, for homes that were doing some work, or that they have?
No, for actually people who are living in them now, because they're so small, they don't meet current criteria or something.
Were you referring to the additional units in the back of the
No.
granny homes? No. Okay.
No, not ADU units. I'm thinking they're on the B Street, those real small
Can you
ones.
turn on your mic?
I'm thinking it's the ones on B Street, those small little homes that are maybe 600-700 square feet. They don't meet building requirements. There was something came to this council years ago where they had to approve them, and I thought it was like an every 10-year approval of something, I just need to get some more information on that. I don't remember, I wasn't on it, you'd be the only one probably would even remember it, was to be the Vice Mayor Pro Tem, because that far many years ago.
Are you insinuating the Mayor Pro Tem has been here for a long time?
No, he just says I have institutional knowledge.
Oh, okay. So I'm a little confused. So these are homes that are already built, but they're small.
Yeah, very small
But-
square footage. It doesn't meet building requirements, and it was some kind of waiver this council had to approve.
But if they're already been built, I don't think, well, then again, I'm not the expert here, but if they're already built, unless they're doing some remodeling or additions, I'm not sure. Miguel, do you know anything about that? Or does it make sense?
I'm not familiar with those. I'm not familiar with those units. It doesn't make sense. I think this is something that's outside of the proposed ordinance amendment. We can certainly look at that and come back with a report on those individual units, but I think that's outside of the purview of this ordinance amendment.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I don't, like you say, maybe city manager can find out when that was years back. if
Maybe we
got a
can,
record, but-
maybe we can research and bring it back?
So, but is that something that is affecting this or? that?
Would that affect them? That's those 10 or 12 houses.
Okay. Yeah, so I will open the public comment again at 9:02. Is there anyone on the phone? Anyone in the chamber?
So my opinion on that, it's some of the houses downtown, because it's zoned downtown commercial. If you have, let's say, 1 or 2 homes, it's technically legal non-conforming. So if it goes for a longer expended, let's say it goes vacant for a certain amount of time and it's not being used, that's its old use, let's say a single family that's now zoned downtown commercial, they could lose their grandfather status. So that might be it. Yeah. So usually, let's just say if I have a house downtown and it's zoned commercial and I'm living in it as my primary, it might be that the code requires me to come every so often and say, hey, it's still a single family, I'm still occupying as a single family, so I can continue to use it. That kind of makes sense? And then I was at the planning commission on this item, and I don't believe, I mean, Miguel can confirm us, but I don't believe that affects like some of these large multifamily projects that require prevailing wage. It's more for, I'll give you an example. Right now, the code is written for, if I want to build, let's say, a triplex or fourplex on my land that's already zoned for multifamily, the process right now requires that instead of just approving to the building department and get a building permit like it's required in Merced or Atwater or Modesto, it has to go through planning department first for a site plan design and review. So what it's doing is it just streamlining the process in the sense that you avoid having to go to planning commission on a property that's already zoned for multifamily, like a triplex or fourplex. That's one example of many.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there any additional citizen comments in the chamber? Seeing none, closing the citizen comments again at 9:04. Council, questions, comments, motions, recommendations?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
just would like to acknowledge the gentleman that came out from the union tonight. Thank you for expressing your concerns and relaying that to us. I want to be fully transparent in that I don't feel like I have enough information about the situation at hand to want to delay this tonight. I think these amendments generally are things that we've been supportive of as a council and staff and are looking to move forward. That being said, I would like to get in touch after the meeting, hear more about the situation, and policy can always be changed. It's the role that we play here. Might be a little bit more of a headache on our side, but this is something that a lot of time has been put into coming into this meeting, and that I am excited about moving forward tonight. So I am supportive of approval. Happy to hear you guys out and meet at a later date if you would like. And again, policy can be made and changed at any time, and we're happy to explore potential changes in the future. Also, Mr. Castillo, thanks for the comments. Appreciate the context.
Okay, so with that said, any additional comments, motions, considerations at this time?
Mr. Mayor, if there's no other questions or comments from council, I'll motion to approve the resolution as drafted.
I'll
Motion to-
second that.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Opal, second by Wallace. Roll call, please.
Roll call, Councilmember Roth,
Yes.
Councilmember Upal,
Yes.
Councilmember Wallace,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Samra,
Yes.
Mayor Moran.
Yes,
Motion passes by a vote of 5-0.
thank you. And if you can please also leave your contact information with the city clerk, or if you can reach out via email. I would like to also just kind of follow up and learn a little bit more about your concerns, and thank you. All right, next item. Item number 8, consideration of adopting a resolution approving an application for funding and the execution of a grant agreement and any amendments thereto from the 2025 funding year of the state CDBG program.
Yes, Mr. Mayor and Council, this is the second CDBG public hearing that we're having. One actually took place with the Planning Commission. And, well, besides informing the public, we also get points for having extra meetings, et cetera. The CDBG program, we, as a staff, many years ago, decided to, rather than go the entitlement direction, where we get an automatic allocation every year with the county, we decided to go the non-entitlement way in order for us to go after the maximum amount of funding that is put forward every year under the CDBG program. The CDBG program is really intended to benefit low and moderate income groups, and different types of projects that we've actually gone after in the past have been, water and sewer replacement of lines in town. I believe we're now at phase 4, and again, we've done some sewer line projects, but there's also planning grants that we can actually go after. One of the planning grants that we're hoping to go after is, in partnering with Atwater, is to look at, and possibly the county, is looking at the feasibility of a surface water treatment plant that can service both City of Livingston and Atwater, and possibly, the county. So that's one of them, but there's also funding, we can go after funding for sidewalks, storm drains. Storm drains is one of those areas that is really hard to find funding for that, so the CDBG program is one avenue for that. And then, of course, we can also use this funding for recreation or parks. But again, we focused on infrastructure related to sewer and water, and because of the huge need that we've had here. And in order to be competitive in this particular space, we have to be, ready. We're hoping to go after the $5 million allocation competitive process in the fall. And so that means that we have to put together a project and then have at least 30%, if I'm not mistaken, of design of plans. And so again, this is a public hearing. We want to open it up. And I know the mayor stepped out, but
In
there's
the
Mayor
mayor's
Pro Tem
absence, I will take, and I will open this up for public comment. Anybody on the phone at this time? Hearing none, anybody in the audience wish to make comment on this item? Seeing no one coming forward, the item is now closed to the public. Council, discussion?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Go ahead, Councilmember Rupel.
So, first things first, very excited to see the surface water feasibility study included in this application. As council knows, myself, the mayor, city manager, public works director, I think we may have had other staff there as well, were able to go tour one of these plants. It's a great long-term solution for our water needs, and would really like to see this come into fruition in the future. So glad that we're able to pursue this funding and also work with other agencies to explore the potential of a project. I would like to point one thing out in that CDBG, just from my read of the report and looking at their application portal, allows jurisdictions to submit up to 3 applications during this NOFA cycle. So we submitted a planning grant. We would have the option of submitting a couple more, and it would have been awesome for us to explore that. I know it was listed in the staff report that we don't have any projects for the project piece of this currently in design to the level that we need to apply for funding. And the ask that I would make of council and staff for future CDBG applications is to try and exhaust the possibility of submitting 3 applications to the greatest extent possible. I'm not sure if there is a recurring NOFA cycle for CDBG, but if that's the case in the future, I would like to see us maximize our potential for applications because we're missing out on two opportunities here.
Yeah, one of the, and thank you, Mr. Rupo. One of the nuances associated with this is, again, it's to address low income and moderate. So we look at the different census tracts in town, and over the years, whether it's good or bad for the city of Livingston, the median household income has increased from 34,000 and some change to like 64,000 and change. So several areas of town have kind of, reduced, where we can be competitive. But one of the things that I was hoping to do, or what I'd like to do, is do an income survey that maybe things are different and they're not exactly what the information that's being published is. But yeah, we always want to go after the all the maximum possibilities of grant opportunities, especially around storm drain and sewer, because those are a little harder to do. And on top of that, as it relates to sewer, water, storm drain, and lift stations, typically are taken care of under the CIP for the rates, and so we're trying to take as many of those projects off of the CIP list so that the residents don't have to pay for those costs. So thank you, Mr. Rupo.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I think we should move forward. I know that Mr. Ramirez and I, we've been looking into surface water for the longest time. And the way it's being talked about is if we can get Atwater and the county a multi-jurisdiction, it may just move your numbers up, where it may help out with the funding, at least the grants for it.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, go ahead.
I am also happy this is possibly going through. Anthony and I talked about this a couple of years ago, and I think it'd be crucial and important for our city, so I'm all for it.
Thank you. Anything else? At this time, I will entertain a motion.
Yeah, we've already gone public, so, Mr. Mayor, I'll make the.
Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah, well, you took off, so we didn't want to hear you singing, in the restroom, so we thought, keep talking,
Got it, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I'll make the motion that we receive the staff open up, okay. And I will have direct the staff to submit the application for CDBG under the 2025 NOFA for water surface feasibility study.
Okay, we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Summer. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Roth,
Yes.
Councilmember Paul,
Yes.
Councilmember Wallace,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Semra,
Yes.
Mayor Moran.
Yes.
Motion passes by a vote of 5-0.
All right, next we have city council members' announcements and reports. Mr. Wallace?
Just one a little bit off, and this may have to involve the city attorney. Is there any way the city council as a whole can write an endorsement for Councilmember Upel and the district he is running for? Is that legal? Not? How do we support him other than cash donations to his fund or checks? I'm just curious, how does you get recommendations from, does it has to be individuals? How does that work and not violate any laws?
Councilman Wallace, I'm happy to discuss with you further separately.
Thank you. Mr. Roth?
Nothing to report at this time, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Mr. Paul?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Wallace, appreciate the support. It means a lot more than you know. Couple items that I'd like to report. First one is our local surf program. So we have a nonprofit in Livingston, surf, that is partnered with the MLS. I'm sure, Council, you may have heard of them or even spent some time out on the fields there. All volunteer-led, do a ton of work with youth in the community and provide great soccer programming. They've been engaged with the Rec Commission for potential policy changes to the fee waivers. They've been engaged with city staff related to the addition of potential soccer fields. So they are working with the city actively on different rec-related items. Have been in touch with them recently, and they would like to explore the potential of providing a presentation to council, just telling us a little bit more about what they do, the impact they have in the community, and ways that they'd look to partner with the city. So I definitely wanted to flag that for council. That request may come in maybe for the next council meeting or at a later date. The next one, Mr. Wallace, the last time we had a Nagar Kirtan in Livingston, where a lot of Sikhs here in town have a religious parade, you had asked me to provide a little bit more context on what's going on so that people are informed, knowing why the streets are shut down, etc. So I don't have any slides or anything crazy, but I do just have a little bit of brief context on the occasion and some details that might help illustrate what exactly is taking place. So the event is called a Nagar Kirtan. I know the Mayor Pro Temp already reported that it's scheduled for the last Sunday of the month on March 29th. It's a common tradition in India and in Punjab where essentially prayers are held in a community setting. Clearly there's moving vehicles where prayers are actively being held, opportunity for community gathering, like spiritual religious connection, a ton of food. So that is kind of one of the biggest pieces of the spirit of the religion in Sikhi. It's called langar, the idea that you serve food to any and all folks that are present at the religious setting. There's food available at the local gurdwaras every Sunday. And in bigger occasions like this, where you're doing a community-style event and moving around town, folks come out, volunteer, and make food for quite literally thousands of people. I mean, we've had huge crowds in our Nagar Kirtan over the years. And what's happening on the actual float, the main one, I guess you could say, or the lead one, the religious text in Sikhi is essentially to the same level as a spiritual leader of the religion. The last guru in the religion actually passed on the spiritual leadership to the text itself to ensure that there would be kind of like an eternal leader of the religion and that it wouldn't be a human. So that's why on that main float you see an elevated covering of the religious text. It's kind of symbolically honoring the text itself. That's why you see people sweeping in front of the float. It's kind of symbolically cleaning the area where the text is entering. Bunch of decoration, bunch of folks going up. And it's a way for folks to kind of embrace their religion in a community setting and just enjoy gathering throughout the streets. And so that may have gone a little long, but wanted to give a little bit of context about what's going on and what to expect. And Mr. Mayor, I have nothing else to report.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
Did you go already? Yeah. Oh, okay, Mr. Mayor, for me, thank you, Councilmember Upel, for reporting. It was great, thank you. For me, we have the mosquito abatement committee, mosquito abatement meeting we had today. Our new season is getting ready to start. I got to look at some of the drones they're going to be using for spraying in some areas. And so we're all gotten ready and available. And then also this Thursday at the MCAG meeting, our item is on the agenda. Last time, even though it got the majority, it needed a minimum 6 votes. But we had the majority of the present, but not enough to make the 6th threshold. So I think this time with the Board of Supervisors there, I'm going to work very hard to get this move forward and funded. And thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I just have a few items. I did attend the City of Livingston Utility Rate Stakeholders Committee meeting. Very interesting information. And I think it's important for the residents to make sure that, you stay informed and updated. And if you have any questions on anything else in regards to rates that will be coming to council, or there's possibly, I believe there's additional 24th of at 6, right? There's going to be an additional rate stakeholders meeting, informational meeting on the 24th at 6 here in the chambers. So, and it's open, and I encourage the residents in the community to come in and ask questions or just learn about what the process is as we move forward to consideration for different rates that might be coming up. 25th? Okay, thank you. 25th at 6 here in the chambers. I also did attend the planning committee meeting. We just went over one of the items that was approved by the planning committee at that time. And last week I attended the Cal Cities Division dinner. And normally what this is, once again, I think we explained it in the past, Cal Cities is an association of cities in this region that get together, and then basically they help us support and work in collaboration with the elected officials in Sacramento to address items that are of concern to the cities, whether it's in favor or not in favor, and they'll let us know, and they'll be kind of like our advocates in Sacramento. There was a report of a list of proposals currently, or that would be coming up in Sacramento to be aware of, and then I did forget to bring the list, but I will be sharing that later on social media so that everybody can be aware of what those items are, either in the Senate or in the Assembly floor. And there was so back in November, I did a boo-boo. I did apply and went around the city, but I did apply for Harvard to do a master's program, another master's program at Harvard, and last week I got a letter of acceptance to the program. But that was the good news. The bad news was that I was not lucky enough to get the fellowship, which was $100,000, which would have been really nice to help me in the process. The cost, more or less, eating cup of noodles and very cheap meals. It would be around $120,000 for 1 year for the program. I looked through my savings, but I don't think I have enough, you know. But so right now, it's even though I'm very honored to have been accepted, I don't think I would be able to continue with the program. So that meant that I needed it to start in the summer with the program. So I'm not leaving until November as of right now, unless I get fired. So I don't know, next year we might try again, and hopefully I can save up some money enough to attend Harvard again. So, but for sure, I'll probably just frame up the admission letter, and you know, that'd be nice to have in my classroom. All right, other than that, nothing else to report. Next, we have council direction on future agenda items. Council, any future agenda items? Actually, I do have just one right now that I can remember about. If we can if I can ask staff to eventually soon bring a report or an update about the solar panel farm that we have out by the wastewater treatment plant. It's been a while. I think that plant was installed probably about 5 years ago, 5, 6 years ago, longer. Okay, and just wondering, I know that it was offline for a while and it was online and just, but you know, I want to know if it's efficient, if it's working as planned, as intended, and so the council can become aware of that. Other than that, that's it for now. Okay, so let's try this new thing. So is there a second from the council? So we have a second on by Mayor Pro Tem, and we'll leave the date up to staff enough to put it together, hopefully before November 26. All right, thank you. Anything else? All right, so with that, meeting is adjourned at 9. Regular meeting is adjourned at 9:28, and we're going to reconvene into closed session, and we'll be back to report out from closed session.